Hello everybody and welcome to Stitch Picks. I am your host, Stitch O'Donovan. At least I will be your host until Drew Carey responds to my emails. If you began watching this video, there's a good chance that you know who Daniel Johnston is. But for those who don't, he is a singer-songwriter, best known for his stream of consciousness style songwriting, alongside his lo-fi home recordings. He famously struggled with mental illness and kind of became an icon for people in the music industry who also struggle with those kind of things. Unfortunately, he passed away within the last decade or so, but his fan base is strong as ever today. When discussing Daniel Johnston's discography, it gets a little difficult to accurately use the phrase studio album because so much of the music he released in the 80s were handmade cassette tapes that he would individually track for every different person who asked for one. Anytime you wanted a Daniel Johnston tape, you'd get it fresh. Eventually, Stress Records would release standardized versions of these early home recordings, including his debut LP, Songs of Pain. Many would cite Hi, How Are You or 1990 as Daniel Johnston's crowning achievement in terms of a full-length LP. I personally think that his songwriting is at its best for Songs of Pain. While I won't label anything in the Daniel Johnston discography as bad per se, there is a lot of lore to be discussed and parsed through in these early home recordings. But we don't need to get into that right now. For anyone who's a beginner, I typically do recommend 1990 as an introduction, unless I know that they don't mind getting into the nitty-gritty lo-fi home recording stuff. And if they don't, I'll send them to Songs of Pain. It's a group of songs that are performed in such an earnest and special way that you just can't hate it. They're just delightful songs. I don't think there's a weak track on this record, but to kind of hone in on one of them for today's video topic, we're going to talk about Daniel Johnston's song, Pothead. I could see some of the topics on this record coming across as preachy. There are multiple songs warning listeners of the dangers of drug use and sexual deviancy. Personally, I think they're genuine. Rather than a politician banging on a podium, it feels more like a friend reaching out with real concern. And that feeling of honest intervention is most potent on the song Pothead, a song about a friend of Daniel Johnston's who looks like old man's eyes. And even in the first line of the song, "Man, you look like old man's eyes when I saw you in that room," that has so much power to it. This is someone who looks visibly aged from their choices. And I think Johnston's choice of starting with "Man, you look like old man's eyes" instead of "Hey, you look like old man's eyes," or just "You look like old man's eyes," it indicates a softness and meeting a friend where they're at. This person has lofty dreams of being a rock musician, but evidently is not working toward that and is choosing to get high instead. With lines like, "And now you're on tour, they booked you in the asylum, and you play your rock and roll guitar, you say you're gonna be a big star, but everyone in this neighborhood knows who you are." Those lyrics are supporting evidence of that. So not only has marijuana taken place of this person's aspirations, but it's affected their relationships in the community. Now, both the earnest approach of reaching out to a friend, as well as the severity of the addiction, have both been discussed. And Johnston drives the point home with the simple chorus, "You wanted to be somebody, but you ain't nobody. You ain't got no body. You're just a head. You're just a pothead." Just as the word nobody has been broken down into the two separate words no body, this character has also broken down from being a friend and a staple in Johnston's life to just being someone who smokes a lot of pot. And musically, the progression of the tempo slowed down in the chorus to really allow Johnston's words to sink in and sound like a desperate plea.
"You ain't got nobody. You're just a head."
And he says, with a heart of gold at the end of the second verse, "I don't mean to be cruel. I'm just trying to say something that'll shock you into going back to school, or maybe at least to reality." And that really punctuates it with an even slower chorus. Whomever the song is about, I hope they heard Daniel's plea and were able to turn themselves around. And if you liked what you heard from this song, you probably would like the rest of Songs of Pain. And of course, I'm a big fan of Daniel Johnston's entire discography, so that's another recommendation for you. That's all for this time on Stitch Picks. Have you heard this song before? What did you think of it? What are some of your favorite Daniel Johnston songs? Do you also save cigarette butts for a poor girl across town? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next one.
Thanks a ton for watching the video. If you like what you saw, maybe hit the like button. If you really like what you saw, maybe subscribe. If you really like what you saw, hit the bell as well so you can be notified when I release new videos. My schedule is every other Monday. If you really
like this video and want to help make other videos like this possible and see monthly exclusive episodes and also see these videos early, consider heading out to my Patreon and becoming a member. That way you can be cool like my buddy Ross.
Thanks again for watching.